Flag.
Remember, the roof is closed. I actually said to you off air, Jimmy, because Rublev won the coin toss, but chose a side to start off with, which I didn't quite understand with the roof being shut.
Do you think it's possible that Rublev didn't know can't see that the roof is closed? Because that does make no sense.
Oh, it's one of his best shots, Jack Draper, that running forehand. Won't be the last time you see that today.
15 all.
It's interesting because Draper, when he's got a mid-court forehand, he often will overspin it, or even a couple of errors, he'll miss hit at times.
Two in a row.
We might want to strap in. This could be a slugfest from the back of the court with some long rallies. The one thing that always amazes me with Rublev is he's able to stand up pretty close to the baseline and take a full cut, half volley at times, and he'll still just rip it, and controls those pretty well for the most part. Second serve for Rublev is attackable. I don't know that Draper will try.
Yeah, I think it's for certainly one of the bigger players on the tour. It's probably the biggest disparity, isn't it, between the pace he gets behind his first serve and the pace behind the second. I mean, that one was just rolled in at 79 miles an hour.
And Draper just rolled it into play, so showing that he doesn't mind staying in the rallies.
It's his bread and butter. Look at Rublev's team, his long-term coach, Fernando Vicente there. Started working with Alberto Martin as well. High quality from both players.
Looks like a video game. Those are playing Pong right now. They're just standing toe to toe and ripping ground strokes in the corner. 21 shots, all of them reasonably aggressive. Look at Rublev, a little out of breath.
Beautifully done from Draper.
And that's what Draper needs to do more of. You can't allow a second serve, as he got a little fortunate with the winner, as you see. That would be in the margin of error for the electronic line calling. Let's see if we can get a. That looked like it caught. Yeah, I would have called it in if it had been me hitting it.
What if I?
If you had hit it, maybe different. But the weakest shot you're going to get from Rublev is his second serve. So why not at least run around a couple, rip some forehands, put a little doubt in his head.
It's a rummaging for early on here. Okay, so Rublev survives, has to save an early break point there. Draper just laying down a bit of a marker. That's how tough it's going to be for Rublev to hold serve today. Yeah, I was just out on Arthur Ashe watching a little bit of the Madison Keys Jessica Pegula. Yeah, the serve has been a slight problem for Jack, obviously with the shoulder problems that he's had since Roland Garros, and then obviously injuring it again during Winston-Salem. Understand he's not been able to serve at full tilt so far in this tournament. And the serve is one of his big weapons.
It does help that he's a lefty. So even if he's not serving the most that he can on a mile-per-hour side of things, he can still swing you out wide beautifully.
He's always very positive, is James Trotman. Leon Smith behind him as well. Yeah, there he is. Leon, Davis Cup captain.
Draper complaining a bit about the string tension all of a sudden in his racket.
Does it make a difference, Jimmy, with the roof being shut?
I mean, I would think it gets a little heavier in here with
great hands.
just have a memory of it being humid when they close the roof, but I don't know if I'm 100% correct in that. As you see Draper coming in, covering nicely, although I'm a believer in trying to step forward, not across for that last volley. Showed good hands though.
Yeah, and there's that lefty serve Jimmy was alluding to get Jack Draper through the game.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's that injection of pace that Rublev possesses behind that forehand.
30 love.
he lets you know he injected it with the grunt, the added grunt decibels, as he got a look at this forehand and just let it fly.
29. Ladies and gentlemen, let serves are not reviewable.
Ah, okay, he thought it was a let.
He
Jack
thought-
Draper, machine net obviously didn't go off.
And he wanted it
He
reviewed.
wanted to use the video review. All right, that's a little more straightforward for Rublev after having to save the break point in his opening service game. Quickfire hold to love in his second to lead 2-1.
Both players look as though they're on their last legs. It has been a fairly physical 14 minutes, but it's 14 minutes.
Love 15.
Well, hopefully that shoulder's just feeling looser and looser.
Well, but he's serving, you're right, in the 1-teens.
Yeah, fastest today's been 119.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that can
In the
get it right up
130s.
there, yeah. Bit of skill from Jack Draper after a bit of a misjudgment, it must be said.
Yeah, misjudged the lob, hit an amazing tweener, having said that. And is there ever a time when Rublev will come to the net? His opponent sprinting backwards. All you would have to do in this situation is just put your racket on it. But no, he just started the point over. See? All right, let's start the rally again.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I mean, that was one where criminal not to come in.
It's the over-under on net points today for Rublev.
Well, the one thing about the net points is when you hit a drop shot, we count it as a net point.
That's true.
And it's not you coming in. That's just, you had no
Being
choice.
forced in, yeah.
So I don't like that. I want it to be, I want to know when you went to the net
Agreed.
on your own volition.
He's not happy with his racket, is he? Again, just smacking his hand onto his racket, suggesting he's not too keen with the tension here.
I mean, if you're Draper and you know that this is going to be a long match, it's time to send a couple of other rackets out to adjust whatever you're not liking about the tension. This is almost silly. You got a lot of rackets in your bag.
First serve.
Draper.
Rublev just a little more careful in that rally. He had a couple of forehands that he could have injected the pace and chose to hope for an error out of Draper.
Draper's turn now just to try and get some air back in the lungs.
Draper's really struggling winning second serve points. And when your first serve percentage is 38% and you're struggling to win second serve points, that's a recipe for trouble. Second break chance.
Turn from Andrey Rublev. Jack Draper just trying to throw in something a little different there, serving volleying with the second serve, and Rublev picked him off.
It's amazing today's players, the shots they come up with. Look where he's standing. He's 8 feet behind the baseline and 4 feet outside the doubles line. You almost have to hit a winner from there.
Remember, you can download the US Open app to follow your favorite players, track everything that's going on at this year's tournament.
Early on, it looks to me through these first 4 games that Rublev's winning the majority of the rallies, because you look at the second serve points, that's when normally a rally is happening. Draper's 2 of 9 when he misses his first serve. Rublev's 4 of 6 when he misses his first serve. So if you're Draper, do something with this return. Don't just start the rally, because you're not winning most of those.
Yeah, very surprised at this game plan from Draper behind the second serve. I mean, he's averaging, what, late 70s?
Yes. It's the shortest ball you're going to get from Rublev.
Yeah.
Rublev, once he's hitting ground strokes, he's hitting them with some length and with some pace.
Well, he went after it, at least. Didn't execute. Right, he's taking control of this first set as Andrey Rublev. Just 22 minutes on the clock and already leading by 4 games to 1. The Brit, Jack Draper. Done a lot of work in the gym over the last few months, is Jack. Remember, early on in his career, he struggled quite a lot, actually, physically, cramping in a lot of matches, body just letting him down.
He definitely plays a more physical style almost than he needs to.
For a 6-4 lefty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
15 all.
He's happy to take a step or two back and get in some long, tough rallies. Frustrating serving start for Draper. Can't win second serve points and he can't make a first serve.
Thirty 15.
Let's go, mate. Come on, here we go.
He would have been so frustrated having to miss the entire grass court season. Of course, Draper, so wasn't able to go to Wimbledon. Spent every day at the National Tennis Centre in Roehampton. He was doing 2 fitness sessions a day.
127.
Yep.
Finally got to serve
15.
closer to what he normally can throw in.
Okay, Draper comes through the game, stays in touch.
4 games to 2. First set.
Looking at the stats, it's hard to believe Draper's only won 4 points on Rublev's serve.
Yeah.
Obviously 3 in 1 game because he had a break chance in the first game. So it's been a little while since he's put pressure on the Rublev serve.
Yeah, I kind of hope that one missed return that he really went after that Rublev second serve.
Fifth ball was middle of the court. He's going to hurt you. Come on. Stay brave.
Yeah, stay brave.
He's not brave on second serve return
Yeah.
right now. He's back, and you at least have to get length so you can position yourself forward in the court.
Oh wow, he came forward.
Yeah, that was.
30 left.
If you're Draper and you've seen Rublev never come to net, don't try to hit a winner passing shot. Get that one down low, make him hit a volley, see how he does.
Those are 2
30-15.
biggest things. Jimmy holding Rublev back the second serve and the inability to finish points off quickly at the net.
And I'm afraid the third thing might be, and I'm not sure he opens the court much, but it's a more straight ahead power, which is why he always seems to lose to Medvedev when they play each other. You can't hit straight through and power through Medvedev.
Oh, it's just missed it.
Nothing wrong with the play from Draper. He was in a commanding position to hit a drop shot. Wasn't particularly well disguised, so Rublev got there comfortably, but still, Draper should have made that volley.
As you said, Jimmy, that goes down as a net point 1.
Yes, I know.
Very nicely done from Rublev. Another comfortable hold, and he's 1 game away from taking the opening set now at 5-2.
Closed Once you start a match with the roof closed, it stays closed.
Yep. Well, he's landed that first serve, still yet to lose a point. Draper, 9 out of 9.
Even though that last one was an 87-mile-an-hour first serve, unless the radar gun was malfunctioned. That's how you attack a second serve. Rublev inside the baseline for that lefty kicker.
15-all.
Lefty kick serves are actually not easy to control. Ball really comes off your racket strangely. Rublev did a very good job handling that one. Just the 5th unforced error for Rublev, so it's been a pretty clean set for him to this point.
40-15.
Draper needs to make a steady diet of that serve as a first serve. It should be pretty consistent. As you said, he's doing well when he gets first serve in, 10 for 10. And then you don't have to hit the tee serve that hard. Once you've got someone leaning out to the doubles alley.
This is quickest of the match at 128. And he will ask the question here of Andrey Rublev. It's an exact set, then lost to Emil Ruusuvuori his first match in Cincy as well. So hadn't actually won a match coming in here.
I'm always a little surprised that Rublev seems to play after Wimbledon. He stays in Europe and plays clay.
Yeah, went and played Bostad and then Hamburg. Won the title in Bostad as well, beat Casper Ruud in that final. I don't think too many French people will be sending Andrey Rublev a Christmas card this year, because he's already knocked out 3 of them this week. Arthur Cazzo in the opening round, Monfils, and then Rinderknecht last time out. Well, other than that one game when he had to save the break point, it's been plain sailing really for Rublev on serve. He has 3 set points.
First game or 2, Rublev was backing up a little bit. He was a little further back in the rallies. He's now up on the baseline. He's dictating. He's feeling comfortable. I called his first round match here, and he didn't look confident. And part of that is he lost those 2 first rounds. He'd lost badly in Hamburg, I believe. And he's got confidence now, it looks like.
Yeah, pretty clean opening set of tennis from Andrey Rublev. Didn't do an awful lot wrong there, and just over half an hour required to take that first set 6-3. Whatever else with the fans.
15 love.
It's a little dangerous for longevity if you over practice all the time. Obviously, he's been healthy so far, Rublev.
Yeah, not only over practices, but he plays such a full schedule as well, doesn't he? I mean, almost every week he's out there. So far this year, he has played 62 matches, this being his 63rd.
49.
This is Draper's 26th, of course, injuries not helping him.
This one. Keep varying that spot. Be brave on that second server. Vary your spot.
James Trotman telling Draper, without telling him, you've won 4 of 14 second serve points. Start being brave with your second serve. Don't just slide it into the backhand. That's not working. So he slides it into the backhand and gets punished again. That's not brave. He's not listening to the coach.
40-30.
Come on, first serve here. Let's go. Close the game.
He's got a few decisions to make. Leon Smith with the Davis Cup coming up. Andy Murray even said he's not sure whether he deserves a spot when that gets underway in, well, a week's time, actually, the week after the US Open finishes. And a nice positive hold for Jack Draper.
Well, a pattern is emerging for Draper in this match. It's all about first serves. If he's not making first serves, he's really struggling. Still hasn't lost a first serve point. He's 15 for 15. So that's the encouraging sign. His first serve percentage for the match is 50. So that's why his service games are contentious to this point.
Yeah, and he's got to do more when Rublev misses a first serve. I mean, Andrey Rublev should not be winning 75% of points behind his second. 9 of 12 he's won today. Have a look what his stats are on the year.
That was a nice illustration of turning a point around. So Draper didn't get super aggressive with the return, but he got it with depth. He had control of the center of the court early in the rally, but one grunting forehand and Rublev then gained control, and the second grunting forehand was the winner.
Yeah, so this year he's 30th on the list in terms of second serve points won on all surfaces. Rublev, he's averaging winning 51% of points behind his second serve.
But I think that speaks to what he backs his second serve up with.
That's true.
Not with his second serve. His second serve is not the 30th best second serve. He just backs it up pretty well. And players today are a little reluctant to take risks on second serve returns. WTA Tour, hanging back, hitting it heavy, starting a rally.
Yeah, I'd like to see where Caroline Garcia would return Andrey Rublev serve, nearly in the service box. Eighth ace, though, for Draper. So actually, when he lands that first serve, half of them have been aces.
That's amazing. Draper's a pretty athletic 6'4". He showed it in that point. This was a nice defensive slice from Rublev. And the lob wasn't bad either, but 6-4, and Draper able to get back beautifully here.
Well, it's a brilliant hustle from Draper just to get Rublev to play that extra ball.
30-15.
And Rublev just won his first point off of a Draper first serve. Gained control this rally. Good high defensive lob. I felt as though Rublev didn't quite get all the overhead, but it found a perfect spot.
Yeah, another forehand winner. It's his 9th of the match already.
30-all.
Pretty amazing one here because there was no angle. He's right in the center of the court, and yet he found some angle. Strange seeing a two-handed backhand holding the left hand up by the throat for a return of serve. Just an extra move you have to make. Almost every two-hander waits with the hands together. Normally a forehand grip with your right hand, and then left hand where you would hit a two-handed backhand, so that you just, as you're turning, you slide that hand. But he's got the one-handed ready position.
Just couldn't quite find the depth, the length on that lob, Rublev. Breakpoint saved.
A little frustration from Rublev as he's hitting some more touch and feel shots than I remember.
Yeah.
He's doing it actually pretty well. That almost caught Draper with the little chip cross court.
Advantage, Draper.
It often seems like a good idea. You have a player out there, you get a short ball, hit to the open court and come in, but that's a simple passing shot. Forehand on the run, cross court. You better do more with the approach if you're Draper.
Advantage, Rublev.
The air conditioning, is that what he said?
Too strong, yeah. He said air conditioning's too strong.
Did it blow the forehand long?
Oh, I don't know.
It's an incredible air conditioning. That giant fan up there is causing all kinds of issues.
So Greg Allensworth is the umpire. Rublev now wants to have a look at the serve, which I never quite understand why they bother doing this.
Well, I think in their head that was out, and they just want to make sure the machine is working.
Well, you can understand, to be fair, why I thought that was long.
Yeah.
Praying for a technical malfunction.
Uh-oh. Third break point of this game, and the fact that he's not able to put any pressure on the Rublev serve makes this even a little extra pressure now.
He's just said he's missing by about an inch every single time. That's better from Draper. Big forehand to save the break point.
So Draper was just complaining how he's missing by a little bit, and Rublev showing how lucky Draper was on the ball that set up this forehand, because it didn't miss by a little bit, it made it by just a little bit. There he goes. The one thing I could say for Rublev, however, is he's played very aggressively in the back of the court. He's the one ripping winners until he gets break point. He had a number of forehands in that rally, and he just put them in.
I think I will say he's been very calm for 51 minutes.
He has.
Throwing the proverbial kitchen sink at Andrey Rublev. There was Draper, and the ball just kept on coming back.
And he had a strange wobble, didn't he, after ripping the backhand, the first backhand that he really crushed Draper. He could have taken a little more advantage, but he sort of stood there almost admiring it, or he was something was a little off. Fourth break chance, and Draper showing you that he's struggling physically. First serve is imperative here, you think, for Draper.
Left for serve.
Well,
the machine every time is not working though. You're hearing things. You heard it, or it did on the thing? Well, on the other ones it's so clear as well.
What do you say? He's hearing the air conditioning?
Yeah, he's moaning about the air conditioning again. He wants it turned off. Apologies for the language from Jack Draper. Umpire just telling him that both the let machine went off and he heard the let as well.
I do think part of that from Draper was he was winded.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you for a while about this horrible let machine.
all from Jack Draper.
Yeah, the sitter forehand, and you know what Rublev missed there? He missed the grunt. Had he grunted and ripped it, it would have been over, but instead he gave a chance. He gave a look, and Draper came up with it.
Yeah, I mentioned at the start of the match how good that running forehand can be. What did I say about 2 minutes ago?
You know it's a little out of control when his coach starts giggling. Luckily, he waited till Rublev turned around.
Someone that quite regularly will make his own knuckles bleed on a tennis court as he punches his own strings of his racket. From Jack Draper. Rublev boiling over. But how about the way that he saved that break point as well, Draper, with that forehand pass. And he stays ahead to lead 2-1. Well, crowds on Labor Day here. Rublev's just got to try and control his emotions.
I know this sounds ridiculous to say, but that point was somewhat important for Rublev, because had he missed, he made that forehand down the line by not much. Had he missed that by a millimeter or two, the boil might have continued.
Yep. So good.
I like the wording that James Trotman's using with Draper when he says be brave. He's going to have to be more brave on second serve returns. He's running around, but he's spinning it, and it's not really causing much issue for Rublev.
Yeah, it's definitely a weakness for Draper, that forehand. I mean, it can be an absolute rocket, as we've seen a few times, but it can just get a little tight and spinny.
It's only a rocket when he has no choice.
Yeah,
he's run out of the court, and from here I'm dead if I don't rip it, and then he hits great ones. It's got to be, that's why I said brave is a good word.
41.
But for the match, Rublev has lost 6 points on his serve, and 3 of them were in the first service game.
They were. Yeah.
2 games all, second set.
Draper didn't show too much interest in trying to return that final ace from Rublev, so quickly levels things up. 2 games all. Yet to drop a point in the second set. Remember that usopen.org is your online home for point-by-point live scoring, highlights, real-time stats, everything you could possibly think of.
Looks like so much for the momentum swing that I thought might happen from the game that Draper held. Dramatic game where he's lucky to get out of it. It feels as though he's right back in the pressure cooker on his own serve, Draper. In a matter of seconds, Rublev just turned the next game around, and now Draper right back to work under slight duress.
Let's go. Come on, mate. You got this. Come on.
Oh boy.
I feel a bit sorry for Greg Allensworth. I mean, he's obviously got the let machine in his hands. He's not just calling these lets because he thinks they are. He's got to go with what the machine is telling him.
Well, is there a possibility he doesn't like Draper and he's just clicking? Good serve. Let. I'm kidding. That's not what he's doing.
Yeah, better make that perfectly clear. That's good.
He's got to be willing to step up like that more often, because Rublev's dominated the points. And really the only time Rublev's gotten a little conservative is when he gets up break point. He doesn't go for as much. The rest of the time he's dominating with his forehand.
Intent right here. Come on. This one.
Full on, isn't it, being a coach these days? Not just a coach, you're almost a kind of a psychologist as well.
I think that's mostly what you are.
Yeah.
During the match.
Yeah.
Most of it, your job is to get your guy playing relaxed. And only occasionally are you able to affect a strategy, something that you see, because you almost don't have time to explain a strategy to them.
Just missing that return, Rublev. Not happy about it. So Draper stays ahead here. It's been good stuff from the Brit after dropping that opening set and then coming through that tough service game where he saved those 4 break points. And he leads 3-2 now. Change of shirt as well for Jack Draper. Here we go, Jack Draper just beginning to up the ante on that forehand.
Yeah, this is where he's got to start stepping up when he gets a ball that you can sink your teeth into.
Just a bit of sweat, I think, that's maybe at the back of the court there. If he does stay fit, sorry Jimmy, if he does stay fit, Jack Draper, and irons out a few of the problems, how good do you think he could be?
Very. I think he's top 20, top 10 even level. He's got a few little, I think he fights well. He's a great competitor, those kind of things. He's just got to get comfortable pulling the trigger on his forehand when he gets a ball that he should be pulling the trigger on. Called a match of his against Tsitsipas in Canada last year. And Tsitsipas, you know, top 10, top 5 player at the time. And he won 2 tie breaks, and he was very brave throughout. There wasn't a sign of choking, which is a good sign to me. keeps trying to dry off that spot. The one he just slipped on.
30 all.
I mean, this has been a frustrating court for Draper so far. The air conditioning's running too fast. The judges are calling lets. He's making the court wet with sweat.
Last person.
Oh, there's a let that wasn't an obvious one. Less of a complaint from Draper that time because he was in all kinds of trouble.
How good is that from Jack Draper?
Well, Rublev giving a steady diet of backhands to Draper the last few games, and Draper's backhand is holding up pretty well.
It's a really solid shot for Jack Draper, and it brings him break point. This is going to hurt Andrey Rublev if he takes this. All those chances that he had earlier on in this set. Wow, can you believe it? 2 doubles in the game. You knew this was going to happen. And he's a breakdown.
Rublev has lost 10 points in the match on his serve. 7 of them in just 2 games.
Yeah.
The rest of his games are virtual love holds, and sometimes that does happen, by the way. You haven't had any pressure. He hadn't had any pressure on his serve for a long time. Suddenly a double fault, 30 all, and he succumbed to that pressure. Draper's on the way to stealing this second set.
Found another one. Another thing of absolute beauty from Jack Draper.
15 love.
And Rublev is normally a guy that wants to go corner to corner to corner and just start hitting hard and deep each side to side. He's really peppering the backhand of Draper. But as I said, the Draper backhand's been very solid, including all of a sudden hitting winners from that wing.
Yeah, hadn't had a single backhand winner until about 2 or 3 minutes ago, Jack Draper. Now he's had 2.
The thing is, Draper's backhand has been, he's not hitting winners, but it's had pretty good length on it. So it's not something you can attack, where Draper's forehand is the one that actually can land short and give Rublev an opportunity to start dictating. And after the second backhand winner, it looks as though Rublev has recognized that. He's gone twice in a row now, starting the point to the Draper forehand, and he's won both.
Let's go, Jack. Come on, Jack. Come on.
Trotman knows you've stolen a break. You don't want to give it right back in the next game. That's a sure recipe to give your opponent some confidence.
just long. Felt as though he was on his last legs there, Draper. He just had to pull the trigger, try and finish that point with either a winner or an unforced error.
15-40.
16-shot rally, and again, Draper's forehand, he left two just sitting there in the service line in that rally.
So 2 break-back points.
It's funny, as I've seen Rublev lose his mind against some big servers. Opelka and Isner, I watched them. He'd get some chances to break and they'd hit aces and eventually just snapped. Couldn't handle that. That's one thing that makes it difficult for Draper here, is that his first serve isn't quite what it could be.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have the benefit of annoying him that way with serving him his way out of trouble.
He's found another clean backhand winner.
Deuce.
Running around his forehand to hit a backhand winner that time.
Advantage, Draper.
Take a look where this serve ends up. He had a better chance of returning if he was standing in the ad court, because it moved quite a bit.
J.J. Wolf is the king of that
Yes,
serve.
he is.
Oh, he's missed the backhand. Can you believe it?
Didn't need to flirt with baseline on that backhand. It just needed short angle. Great forehand on the run here. But still outside doubles alley to outside doubles alley.
That's big, because it's fastest of the match at 128. Maybe the shoulder is just loosening off a little. Just wide. And again, Rublev can't believe it, but he's dragged it.
Draper leads 5 games to 2, second set.
And somehow, Jack Draper is a game away from taking this second set here at 5-2.
Just to give you an idea of how big a disparity there is between their service games. Rublev has played 42 total points on his serve. Draper, 62. All Draper's games have been much tougher, and yet he's one hold away from squaring this at a set apiece.
Have played each other twice before, these two. Both actually came last year, one in the Masters 1000 event in Madrid. And Jack Draper was very close to actually beating Rublev that day, eventually lost out 7-5 in the third. And then their one and only match on a hard court came in Washington last year, and it was pretty one-sided actually in the direction of Rublev. He came through that one 4-2.
Second serve.
So a hold in just about 60 seconds, and now once again he can focus all his energy and his attention on trying to get this break back.
It's never a good idea to complain about your where your opponent. I'm trying to hear the coach tell him you're doing great, don't change. You're complaining about where your opponent's shots are landing. They're too close to the line, they should be out. Those are not helpful thoughts. You cannot control that. Flip side is James Trotman trying to tell Draper don't have a let up point, because his service games have gotten interesting often.
Yeah.
Even when he has 40 love, it might get to 40-30 and
30-15.
Still only lost 4 points behind that first serve all match. Jack Draper 29 of 33, and it brings him 2 set points to level this one up. Well, it was a bit of a smash and grab, wasn't it, from Jack Draper? Andrey Rublev will be thinking, how on earth have I lost that set with the amount of opportunities he had? But all credit to the Brit. He levels this one up, taking the second 6-3.
I missed that as well.
Yeah, but he seemed...
Love of 15.
Oh, it's a wonderful start to this set for Jack Draper. Immediately gets to love 30.
Again, he'd only won a handful of, he's won 10 points on serve, and now 12.
Yep.
And the only time he wins points on Rublev's serve, he breaks or almost breaks. This is a dangerous game now for Rublev. Ooh, and it almost got even more dangerous.
15-30.
Forward from Draper. I wonder if Rublev just saw him out the corner of his eye, then knew he had to go for a little bit more with that backhand.
No question that happened. You don't see that very often in today's game. That was a chip delay. Wait until right before his opponent hits, and then you run in, and you're right. He's going to see it, feel the pressure.
Could absolutely erupt here, Rublev.
His mind went to a bad spot just complaining about too much time right before this game started. This second serve will be interesting, as one break point that was converted was a double fault.
Draper makes his move in the opening game of set 3. No reaction from Andrey Rublev.
Yet. You're never sure.
This was the moment earlier. I don't know what Draper said to him just to calm him down then, but yeah, Rublev saying that he obviously took the 5 minutes to go and use the bathroom, change his clothes. He then came back onto the court, spent another 60 seconds or so back on court before he actually stepped to the line.
Jack said, "I'm 6'4". Back off. I'm kidding. I don't know what he said.
He's just got to not panic here, Andrey Rublev. He knows how much pressure he's been able to apply under the Jack Draper serve today. Had 8 breakpoint opportunities in total, only converting on the 1. As we mentioned a few times, not serving full tilt is Draper because of the shoulder problems that he's been experiencing over the last few months. Going after the forehand early stage of this third.
And that's what will determine how high he gets ranked eventually. If he's able to start unloading on forehands when he has mid-court forehands, then he's going to be really dangerous, as he's showing you, even with not his full arsenal. His serve is still effective because he can get that width with the lefty slider. Doesn't have to hit 130 to get an ace down the tee or a near ace.
to back up the break
Draper leads 2
for
games
Jack
to
Draper.
love.
Quick
Third
fire
set.
hold to love, races to a 2-love lead.
Slow breaths, nice and calm. You're doing great, mate. Huh? Love those patterns. Love those patterns.
15 love.
Yeah, it looks like we're right back into the pattern of either Rublev holds it love or he gets broken or nearly broken. This is the I'm going to hold it love scenario.
Yeah, not going to bother trying to get that one back, Jack Draper, as Rublev very quickly holds. And is off and running in this third step. Make sure he just stays that single breakdown. As we've said, roof will stay closed for the remainder of this match. It's well done. Just about able to get that pass out of reach.
Love at 15.
So tough to serve and volley when your first serve is down the center. So you bring your opponent in the center of the court, there's nowhere to volley. There's always going to have a look at a passing shot.
15.
Today's players pass awfully well.
All.
There, Rublev, that little field shot, put it in one of the only places he could have to make that volley pretty awkward.
I really liked the play from Draper. I'm not sure what happened on the volley. It was a nice shot from Rublev, don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
he hit it down.
1 of 8 on break points today, Rublev. Another chance coming up here.
See if Rublev gets more aggressive on this second serve.
Well, finally, from an Andrey Rublev perspective, he is able to break through, and we're back on serve in this third set. I said to you off air, Jimmy, I mean, see Andrey Rublev going absolutely crazy a lot of the time, but it doesn't necessarily seem to kind of affect him during points the way he actually continues to play.
You're right, it doesn't. He loses his mind completely, complains about things that you shouldn't even complain about, but once the point starts, he looks the same.
$15.
Missed a volley just a couple of minutes ago, but that was a very good one from Draper.
15-all.
Do you think Draper, because this is an approach from behind the baseline, is he trying to shorten the points a little bit because he's getting tired? It might work. I mean, I like the play in some ways.
It's going to be interesting the longer this match goes on, just to see how the body holds up for Jack. Really has not played much tennis at all this whole year. And he was fortunate that his first couple of rounds were both straight sets against Radu Albot and Hubert Hurkacz. Michael Mmoh took one set off him. Hasn't spent too much time on court. 7 hours and 19 minutes coming into this match.
Yeah, that's another sign, maybe slightly tired Draper, as he'd been pushed enough in that point and he had enough. Just went for a slap shot, 1 out of 100 type winner.
Yeah, again, not showing too much interest in trying to return that one, Draper. So Rublev's done a good job here after falling an early breakdown. He now finds himself in front, albeit on serve at 3-2. He's been doing a lot of work in the gym over the last few months, Draper, when he's been off court with injuries. He actually moved in with another professional, excuse me, one of his good friends, Paul Jubb. So they've been doing a lot of work together because Paul was also injured with an ankle injury, so they were trying to encourage each other on.
You cannot recreate in practice in the gym what happens when you add adrenaline to the mix and how much energy that pulls from you. The only way to get through that is to keep playing some matches and get your body accustomed to it. Draper, as you've said, has been very spotty with how long he can play before injuries have inflicted themselves upon him. But if you're tired, you do not want to be back where he was in that rally. It's just, you're going to end up having to work.
This one, Jack. First serve. Hit your spot. Come on.
Rublev sensing an opportunity here. I think he can tell that Draper is maybe just beginning to feel it physically.
15-40.
Yeah, that was a frustrating point for Draper because
Yeah, serve volley if you have to.
Because he did hit his spot. He did hit his spot with the serve, and Rublev made a beautiful return.
Yeah, well, he was serve volleying, just trying to keep it nice and short, find a way through the game if he can.
30-40.
And again,
Let's go. And back you, mate. Come on. Here we go.
It is so nice that we can actually hear the conversations between player and coach during the match. It was a great serve from Draper to save 2 break points.
and what's funny is this is when it gets for Rublev more frustrating. He senses Draper's tiring. He's on the verge of cracking. He gets double break point, doesn't break. And all of a sudden, Rublev will start losing it. He looks like he's about ready to now.
2 of 11 now on break points in this match. Oh, brilliant serving from Jack Draper under pressure there. Looking a little fatigued, a little tired, but comes through the game to stay on serve. Yeah, wait for your second wind, says James Trotman. It's just a fabulous point from Andrey Rublev.
Yeah, it was. Draper's more dangerous right now as a player that's a little bit tired. He's taking some mighty cuts. Rublev did a beautiful job standing up to that pace.
30 love.
And now you get the sense from 30 love, Draper might not waste energy on the rest of this game. We'll see. Certainly at 40 love, he won't.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times, almost walking to his chair, isn't he, by the time Rublev's throwing the ball up. Well, one of the quickest holds all day. And Rublev stays ahead, leading by 4 games to 3. Still on serve at 3-4, a break apiece so far in this set.
15 love.
Problem for Draper in this match feels to me the whole second serve points won stat.
Scrambled it back, but yeah, I think Draper just wanted to get out of that point.
And did it beautifully with the slap shot forehand with just a little too much pace for Rublev to handle. Yeah, this is the problem for Jack Draper. It's hard to believe in a 3 out of 5 set match that you can overcome the disparity between second serve points that Draper needs to make for serves very consistently or he's in trouble, and Rublev doesn't have that pressure.
40 love.
The difference, really, the reason this match is dead even right now is Draper has won all the pressure points for the most part. I used to love the feeling when I thought my opponent was tired. It put me in this mindset of any ball that touches my racket, even if I'm uncomfortable, I want to at least put it in and make him hit one extra shot. It's amazing how well you play when your mind gets cleared like that. And the other thing I always thought is, if he's in that corner, I'm going to hit it to the other corner. It just simplified what I was trying to do. I was no longer trying to win the point, I was just trying to run him.
In a funny way, can that affect you negatively almost? The fact you can maybe stray from your normal game plan, you start playing a little more passively?
It could, but I don't know, it was interesting. I just felt like I never missed. Once I put my mind in that space, I didn't miss much. And if I'm right, my opponent's tired. He's going to do what Draper just did on that forehand. He's going to start slapping shots and try to get out of points.
Got time to wind up on that forehand. Very difficult to get out and turn that point around if you're Draper.
Yeah, as soon as he hit that first forehand, Draper now was under duress.
Another opportunity comes Rublev's way.
One of the beauties of being a left-hander is that almost all the break points happen in the ad court, and that's where you have a serve that's the most effective.
Left. First serve.
Another big pressure point that goes the way of Jack Draper.
It just feels impossible for him to continue squeezing out of these difficult positions, but as he saves break points, it just raises that frustration level for Rublev.
Completely mishit the forehand, did Rublev. Draper got the ball he was after.
Advantage, Rublev.
If you're Rublev, you should be thinking that the longer this game goes, the more serves Draper has to serve, the better for me, even if I don't break. He has to take that sort of attitude. I don't think he will.
this time he takes it. And Andrey Rublev will serve for the third set now at 5-3.
It's funny how, because Draper's exhausted, he had 40 love in that game. But as the points accumulate and he's serving and they have a couple long rallies, he can't finish.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened in that game, and that's how Rublev got the break and now serving for... Serving for a 2-set lead, and it would be very easy for Draper to have the wrong attitude and say, how am I possibly going to win 2 sets when I'm feeling the way I'm feeling right now? It's the wrong attitude to have, but it's a very human thought process.
But you can have a second wind.
Well, that's what James Trotman
So it
was
might
telling
come.
him. Wait for that second win.
Well, I think he's not even going to bother here.
No, he's not. He's going to wait a little longer for the second win.
Let for serve.
He was trying to guess wrong. But it was a let. Rublev should go body and make him play.
Well, you've got to hand it to Andrey Rublev. Patience, not necessarily something that you associate with him, but he showed a lot of patience in that set after going an early breakdown. There was no panic, and he was able to turn it around, and he now leads by 2-1.
Points in this game. In this match, Draper's had 95, so his service games have been much tougher. And he served 1 fewer game than Rublev has. I mean, Rublev has been broken a couple times, but other than those games, he's held almost at love every time.
Yeah, so look for Jack Draper to just try and shorten the points, maybe throw in some more serve volleys. Haven't seen too much of that really from Draper today.
Oh, he should. He's had the shoulder issues, so he hasn't served maybe as big as he could, but if he has a chance in this match, he's got to get free points with his serve. So if his arm is up to it, he's got to uncork a few.
Yeah, first time he did his shoulder the first round of Roland Garros against Thomas Echeverry, the Argentine. I think he initially thought it was just going to be a minor injury. I don't think he was fully expecting to be out of action for nearly 3 months. Didn't return until the middle of August, went and played a challenger event in Canada. And then, of course, in his second tournament back, the shoulder went again in Winston-Salem just a week before the US Open started. Wasn't sure whether he was even going to be able to play here. So the fact that he's has that distraction, can't imagine you had that distraction, Jimmy.
Well, thank you for bringing it up in that vein. Yeah. Surprisingly, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
finally.
that's the kind of return we've been asking for.
Yes. He's gotten mid-70-mile-an-hour roller second serves into the middle of the box, Draper, and he normally just starts the point. That time he uncorked it with enough pace.
(30-15).
If you're Rublev, you sense Draper starting to tire, you should be serving an awful lot wide and then go to the open court on the next ball and just force long runs.
40-15.
So Rublev holds. He's had a pretty solid year in the slams this year as Rublev made the quarters down under right at the start of the year. Lost to Novak Djokovic in yet another Grand Slam quarter-final. Somehow lost third round at Roland Garros after being 2 sets to love up on Lorenzo Sonego. Ended up losing 6-3 in the 5th there, and again then ran into Novak Djokovic in the quarter-finals at Wimbledon. Actually took the first set off Djokovic there.
Actually, one of the questions you asked me at the very beginning is, what does Rublev have to do to get out of the quarterfinal? One of them could be get your ranking to 4.
Yes, that's a very good point.
You don't have one of those guys in the quarters.
Yeah. Wow, a bit of a miss hit and an immediate apology from Rublev.
15-all.
Well, it won't be Djokovic for Rublev in the quarterfinals if he does come through this. Either be Daniil Medvedev or Alex de Minaur, who are on this court a little later on today.
Medvedev's another player that has a very good record against Rublev. So he might be hoping for a de Minaur upset.
Yeah, he's won 5 of their 7 meetings as Daniil Medvedev, including the Dubai final actually earlier this year.
And he beat him in Australia in the quarterfinal and the US Open in a quarterfinal. So that's one of the other guys that Rublev hasn't gotten past. Now that serve looked as though his shoulder hurt. That didn't have the normal snap at all.
What a pickup that is. Almost on the half volley with that backhand.
Half volley from the center of the court, and he flicked it with angle.
Oh, it's such a shame. Wow. It was quality defending from Draper.
Did an amazing job on a number of shots in that rally. And then when he had the sitter. And again, a guy who doesn't come in, Rublev, you can't miss the passing shot in that scenario. Break point number 14 in the match. 3 have been converted.
Yeah, I wish he'd go to that play more often, Draper.
He does that enough time, and eventually Rublev will start really sneaking over to that alley, and then it'll open up an easy ace, free point down the tee. Still isn't as accurate with that serve as he needs to be. It's sometimes a little deep in the box.
Advantage.
Draper's chase, his only chance in this match is find a way to hold. Don't use much energy on the break games unless you get up love 15, love 30. So you basically play the first 2 points of Rublev's serve games. If you don't win them, rip cord, get ready to try to hold again.
Again, made no attempt to try and get that back, did he? 88-mile-an-hour winner for Rublev off the forehands. That's his 15th forehand winner in this match.
Advantage, Draper.
Oh boy. There's the left that nobody hears. Draper has complained about that almost all the time. Only when he's the one in trouble does he complain less.
Yeah.
When a let happens that he didn't hear.
Well, it's more frustration for Andrey Rublev. Another break point comes and goes. And Draper stays ahead in the fourth at 2-1. In this full set, another break point wasted in the last game. 3 of 14 now on break points in the match.
15 love.
Burst onto the scene when he was just a 19-year-old here at the US Open. Andrey Rublev making it through to the quarters. He was back in 2017. Beat the likes of Grigor Dimitrov and David Goffin, who, well, both of them actually were having brilliant years in 2017. So a couple of big wins. Eventually lost out to Rafa.
Had you told him then, quarters is your place,
Yeah.
he probably wouldn't have believed you.
Well, he actually said he couldn't believe he made the quarterfinals that year. He said
Well,
as a player he was just not ready to do that. Didn't think his game was there. But yeah, amazing that he's still never been past a quarterfinal. Not just here, of course, in any Grand Slam. Rublev again holds to love. Yeah, twice he's made the Aussie Open quarters, twice at Roland Garros, first time at Wimbledon this year, and 3 times here at the US Open he's made the quarters. Remember, you can stay connected to the US Open, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Yeah, not the kind of point that Jack Draper wants to be playing, and you can understand really why he just pulled the trigger in the end.
He was trying to pull the trigger the entire point. Rublev was just there in balance and hitting the ball with depth and enough pace. It's serve and volley needs to be a staple right now for Draper. Shorten the points. But but even those legs, they didn't get down at all for that half volley.
Yeah, didn't get down, didn't get up the court too far either, did he?
No.
Leon Smith trying to encourage him on here, Jack Draper, but it's looking a tad ominous at the moment. Love 30.
Yeah, even the serve, the legs are gone.
Oh, he can barely get up to that second serve. And you really have got to hope that at some point Jack Draper is just going to remain fully fit and get that body sorted, because it's just becoming a common theme in his very young career so far that the body just keeps breaking him down, keeps letting him down. Remember 12 months ago he had to retire here at the US Open with the hamstring problem. And right now it's very difficult to see how he wins this match. Rublev 2-1 and now a break up. I mean, he's not looked great for a while now, Jimmy, but I think that last game, the worst that we've seen. Andrey Rublev is cruising towards another US Open quarter-final. On the whole, handled himself pretty well today as Rublev. We've seen a little bit of frustration at times.
But enough frustration for his own coach to start laughing when he completely lost it.
When was that?
In the second set.
Yeah.
And Vicente, he was the one. He waited until Rublev turned around after screaming at least, so it was well played. Shocked that Rublev went for that much.
15.
Yeah, didn't have to.
No. He was at a cramp after missing that backhand. He sort of went to his thigh, Draper.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time in his career. Remember in Miami back in 2021. He was cramping, actually had to retire with heat exhaustion in the end. I mean, obviously today he has an excuse for feeling pretty tired, pretty fatigued. The fact that he's barely played any tennis, certainly in the last kind of 5 months or so. So the fact that he's already played 3 matches over the last week.
And this match was a physical match. They were hitting the ball hard, they were having long rallies, and he's serving so many long games.
That's too good from Rublev, who moves 2 games away from the quarterfinals.
Fourth set.
The one thing that's interesting to me from Draper's standpoint is he's exhausted, he knows it. He still isn't overly aggressive. He still spins the forehand.
Yeah.
He still, you would think if you're ever going to play brave, it's when you know you don't want to be in a 3 or 4 shot rally. So
yeah, and he serve and volleyed a bit, but
not a lot.
That's beautifully done. Doesn't mind a target, does Draper?
No, for Rublev, what do you do? He doesn't come in much anyway. You don't come in when your opponent's exhausted and let him hit 1 shot to end the point. In the end, none of these things are probably going to matter, but come on.
39.
If you had 6 months coaching Andrey Rublev, Jimmy, what would kind of the first thing you do with him?
Well, I think, one, let's start working on a second serve that you can rely on and hit spots with. And then get a little more comfortable in the midcourt, hitting a big ground stroke, looking to step up, take time away with your court position. I was going to say hit some angles because he doesn't do that often, but he just did it beautifully there.
Yeah, Draper thought it was wide. Wants to have a look at it on the big screen. Right on the line. 19 of those winners coming off the forehand side for Rublev today. Yeah, may not seem like a big difference, about 90 seconds or so, but that adds up over 2.5 hours.
$117 service points to 85, just to.
Embarrassing, you needed a calculator to add that up.
I did not.
Okay, well, I mean, he's tired, but he's just hanging around here, Jack Draper. Still only that one breakdown.
Fourth set, and 2 sets to 1.
He's not pulled away from Jack Draper in this fourth set, but he's just 2 games away.
Well, the issue for Rublev, when he has been broken in the match the 2 times, were really the only 2 games where there was any pressure at all on his serve from a scoreboard. Got to 30 all, and all of a sudden a double fault and a couple errors. He hasn't had pressure now in quite some time.
How many service games has he had like this today, Rublev? Another one looking like it's going to be over in about 60 seconds. Which it is. Ace number 14 seals the job.
I would really enjoy seeing him try to serve out the match. So I hope Draper can muster up a hold to serve here. And then whatever energy is left, you use it all in that next game. But first step is finding a way to hold here. Rublev has a look on his face as if to say, I don't want to serve for the match. I want to end right now.
A couple of brilliant returns off the backhand.
Must be nice to be able to serve 113 miles an hour and not lift your legs more than a half an inch.
You're right. may still get your wish, Jimmy.
30 all.
He needs to go into the forehand with this serve because he's almost exclusively just spinning him to the backhand now. And Rublev's been leaning that way. Might be able to catch a free point if he can hit that serve. He didn't listen.
Yeah, Rublev is already
he was waiting
to
there,
his
yes.
left, wasn't he? Yeah.
He thought about it one serve too late.
So first look at a match point here for Andrey Rublev.
Such a nasty lefty serve. Nice little half volley down the line at second match point save. This could add a little spice to Rublev serving for the match if Draper manages to hold. There you go.
Yeah, there it is. Again, you just saw Rublev take a step to his left. Exactly what Jimmy called.
Even now in a second serve, go aggressive.
Oh, and he did. Absolute rocket of a forehand from Jack Draper, and he will ask that serve it out question. 5-4. And then in this next game, Jimmy, what is Jack Draper doing?
Crowd here will want to see more of this match as well. So if Jack can win a few points early, the crowd will get behind him.
Importantly, wins that first point.
And it was the liveliest footwork we've seen from Draper in about an hour. So he's going with the whatever I have, I'm putting it into this game.
So the US Open put out some information the other day. Probabilities of holding serve if you win the first point or if you lose the first point. If you win the first point, it goes up to about 90% chance that you're going to hold on the men's side of things. If you lose it, that drops by nearly 30%.
Wow.
Down to about 62%. Now, of course, that's not taking into consideration potentially playing someone who is pretty exhausted out here. But yeah, it just shows the importance of winning that opening point. But it doesn't look like it's going to cost Andrey Rublev here. He has 2 more match points.
No, he did a great job, didn't he? Love 15, lost the point, had the 2 match points in the previous game, and just stepped to the line and hit 3 really good first serves.
Oh my goodness, just a complete misjudgment from Rublev.
Could you imagine if that was still more doubt in the match, as you see, just catches a little tick. 3 match points gone. This will be interesting if he doesn't convert this point.
It's a 9th Grand Slam quarterfinal for Andrey Rublev, a 4th here at the US Open. He gets the better of Jack Draper, 6-4 in the 4th.
Yeah, great stuff from Andrey Rublev. He'd had a tough summer on the hard court. Lost first round in both Canada and Cincinnati. Regained a little of that swagger with this run to the quarterfinals. He had some anxious moments. He had some screaming and yelling.